the mighty chief who had a cowardly son. Well, this is about long, long ago. All of these people lived on the peninsula now called the Lummi Indian Reservation. Their village was at Gooseberry Point, and these homes that were built were strong, sturdy homes and meant protection to the boy. The mighty chief had a beautiful wife, and they had a son. And the chief was so proud that he had a son. But it was a long while as the boy started to grow that he found out that his boy was not only afraid of the dogs, he was afraid of the children, he was afraid of the heat of the sun. He didn't want to jump into the water because he thought he would disappear. Oh, he was afraid of the night, and he was just shivering. And so the chief tried to nurture him along to make him feel comfortable with the dogs and with the other children. He nurtured him along. Come along now. These are good people over here, and they just love you. Come and let's play with them. So he'd try, and he'd try, and he'd try. But the little boy, in his trembling, the fear in his eyes, his father just sent him into the house where his mother then nurtured him, fed him, put him to bed. They talked to each other this one particular night, the chief and his wife, and they said, "What can we do? What can we do to bring him out of this?" And it was many nights gone by when they've talked like this, and the mother ended up saying, "Just let him grow out of it on his own." So the father had a hard time accepting this, but he accepted it. And so the little boy grew 5, 7, 9, 12 years old, and he would still creep around the house, not letting go of the anything solid. He would grab onto something solid for fear that he would fall down. Soon as he would get outside, he'd creep along the house for security. Then it was weeks before he wandered from the house because he was fascinated by a pond. Meanwhile, the raven, Squatat, was in the tree very close to the longhouse, and he was studying all that he saw, for he could hear and he could see from the expressions on the chief's face how disappointed he was that his son was such a coward. And he was, after all, a very famous chief for his strength and for his skill and for his generosity. And so the boy crept up onto the water, and the raven was watching. The boy looked upon the water, and he would stand clear of the shore, but he liked to see the sun shining on the water. That to him was a new experience, and he felt safe. No one was around. No one was permitted to bother him. The children had to remain clear of this little boy, Tuan. And so Tuan looked, and day after day, he'd come back out of the house and do the same thing every day. Finally, his father noted that he would pick up things from the ground. Him and his wife sat there thinking, how could we make this boy think of progression. What can we do? And the father saw a knife on the table. He picked that knife up and he made a little belt just right for the boy, just right around his waist, because this father was a very skillful man. He made it out of leather, and he put the knife in the pouch, and he told the son, "You wear this, you'll feel a lot better. You'll feel like a man." Oh, the little boy thought, "I'm going to be a man," and he'd go out day after day. One day, he looked at the water, and something strange was in the water. It was a frog. These big eyes, these great big eyes. And the boy would look and look and look, and that frog would not blink. And he'd watch and wait for it to blink because he himself was blinking, but no. And you know, that was a magical frog because the raven had flown down and changed into the frog. And so he was the raven, not the frog. He was the raven sitting on the lily pad, watching the boy. He had watched him for all the days that he was born. And so he knew that boy. He knew the father. He knew the mother. He knew their plight. And so one day, the boy picked some wood up from the nearby. And he took the knife out gradually, gradually, gradually. And he started to carve. He carved. He'd look at that frog and he'd carve again. Look at that frog and study just how those legs were to go. And he made a beautiful frog. Well, he lifted the frog up in one hand. He looked at it. He looked at the frog on the lily pad. And oh, the frog sat so still, hoping that it was a big success for the boy. And the boy was so happy. He said, "All it needs now is to be painted." And he knew how to paint it. He picked the tips of the ferns, the very, very tips of the ferns, and he crushed them on the wood, and it turned the wood green. And he put some more on and made it turn greener and greener and greener. When he lifted it up at last, he compared it to the frog on the lily pad, and it was perfect. And so his heart just swelled up, and his chest just swelled up, and his mind was so taken by the pride in himself. And so, but the frog looked at him and maintained that stare until he near hypnotized the boy, and they were talking. The raven said, "Please give me the frog that you have carved. Please give it to me, and I'll put it on the lily pad. And I'll come, and you and I will go around the world, and I'll give you any wish that you would wish for." And the boy said, "No, I want to show this to my dad. I'm so proud of it, and I know he'll be proud of it too. He doesn't know that I could create something this perfect." And so the little boy hid it, and he went to his house. He brought it into his bedroom, and he really admired his own work. He felt so good about it that he got up, and he wasn't afraid. He didn't have to grasp onto everything solid that that day, that morning. He walked out to the pond without grabbing onto the house, without grabbing onto the table, without grabbing onto the chair. He made it outside without touching a thing. This is the difference it made in his life, just for that one day. He got back to the pond, and the frog was looking at him like this. Please, he was saying, please, I'll give you one wish, anything you want, anything you want. And he could hear his father and mother talking in the house, and he thought to himself, one wish, maybe. The boy was weakening, and he was thinking to himself, I'll go around the world. And so he thought harder and harder. He just kept petting the frog that he made. Finally, he said, I could see other animals, and I could go clear around the world. Why, yes. And he reached out to the raven, and the raven took the frog, sat it on the lily pad, and as the frog jumped into the water and swam to the little boy, he got to the little boy, he hopped all around the little boy, and the little boy could hear him as he hopped around the back of him, and when he landed in front of him, the frog was looking up at him, depending on him. Let's go around the world now, the little frog said. Let's go. Let's get started. Come on. This is the promise come true. So he hopped in front of the boy, and the boy put his knife away, and on, and the boy was looking at the trees and the flowers, and he'd pick a berry now and then and eat it. Oh, what a beautiful world he lived in. What a beautiful world. Everything was so pretty. And he was so thankful. He was so thankful to the frog. Pretty soon the frog got a little too far away from him. It was too far away. And he hollered. But then, just as he was about to holler, a wolf came out of the brush. He saw that juicy-looking frog, and he was going to get him. Closer and closer, and the boy stood there in fear. No, no, don't do it. And that wolf just about clamped onto the head of his friend, and the boy ran quickly as he could and took his knife and pushed the wolf away. Oh, he saved his friend. He saved his friend's life. Now they could continue around the world. The wolf was gone. But the frog said, now you take your knife and you take the fur off, skin it, cut around like this and pull it all the way off. And so the boy did. And now roll it up, and put it on your back. And the boy did. And he looked at the frog. I want to go. He was telling the frog silently, I want to go around the world. Around the world they went. First it was a wolf. And then when they got a little farther, there was a cub. A cub. Oh, what a cute animal that was. But no, it wasn't cute. It was going to get the frog. Don't you get the frog. It started to bat the frog around. Oh, no, you don't. No, no, you don't. No, 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 that's my friend. They watched the bear. Pretty soon you could see that bear opening his mouth. No, no, no. And he took his knife out and he ran and he pushed it. Oh, he saved his friend again. Oh, he was so thankful his little friend was taking him around the world. Thank you, but the frog said, now take his fur like you did the wolf. Cut around like this and pull and pull and pull. And so the boy did. Now roll it up and put it on your back. And the little boy did it. On they went around, and he picked berries. Oh, there was some good salmon berries, and oh, how happy he was that he could do all of this. Well, they had gone around the world, and he had how many skins on his back, and it started to get dark. He had 4 or 5 skins on his back by now, and the frog looked up at him. Don't you think it's about time we went back home? And the boy looked down, he looked around. It wasn't really dark. But he gave in to his friend. That's his only friend. So he said, okay. He followed the frog all the way home. When they got to the water again, the frog jumped in, started to swim. Oh, the boy started to shiver again. Oh, no, don't leave me. Don't leave me. I'm too afraid. Don't leave me. I don't want to stay here by myself. Please come back, he said. Please, please come back. He's so scared. And the frog come back and hopped up to him. He said, what's the matter? What's the matter? Well, I can't swim. I never did learn how to swim. And so the frog said, follow me. Follow me, my friend. Just follow me. And the boy said, I will. I'll follow you, my friend. So they jumped in the water, and he swam all the way across the pond. And he was climbing up the other side of the pond, grasping at every little piece of grass and brush that he could to get up, because his load was wet and heavy now. And he looked up higher and higher. Oh, no, there's my father. What am I going to do? He's going to be mad at me. Oh, I don't want him to be mad at me. But when he looked up higher, 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 he could see that the eyes of his father was contented and very, very happy and proud looking. He even reached down for the hand of his son, and he pulled him up. He saw the hides on his back. He stood him up and he said, what a good job you did, my son. What a good job you've done. Let's go to the house and show your mother. So they went to the house, and the father was so proud of his son. The boy was no longer a coward. Oh, how proud the father was. We made it. We made it, he told his wife. We made it. Look, look. See all the fur on his back? Oh, how happy they both were, and they walked through the village. They wouldn't take the fur off because they wanted to show everyone in the village what a good boy he had. All because of one good friend.